Every stone in these ruins holds a secret, and we're about to dive into every single one. We're going back in time, far back to 203 AD, to the place where the heart of the world once beat. Before you stands Rome's greatest jewel in Africa, Leptis Magna. Not the ruins you see now, gleaming marble, bustling streets, a living city at the center of the world. This is where an emperor transformed his birthplace into one of the most magnificent cities in history. And by the end of this journey, you won't just witness history, you'll witness much more. Rome, Carthage, Alexandria, everyone knows these names. But look at that third spot, Leptis Magna, the third greatest city in the empire. Emperor Severus was born right here. Even after rising to the top of Rome, he never forgot where he came from. Every corner of this city bears his signature. This harbor is overflowing with riches from every corner of the Mediterranean. This isn't just a dock. This is the gateway where the world's trade passes through. Every stone was part of a plan. You know Hezekiah's remarkable tunnels that brought water all the way to Jerusalem? That same engineering genius is on full display right here. Luxury and grandeur at every corner, just like Babylon, where Daniel once survived. This city stands at the peak of power and wealth. But is all this grandeur just the pride of one emperor? Or is this city part of a much bigger story? You're about to find out. Now we are deep within this city where perfect engineering meets water. Building a city in the middle of a desert is a miracle in itself. But without water, no one in this city could survive. The Romans knew this all too well. We know Hezekiah carved tunnels to bring water to Jerusalem. The engineers here used that same genius. They brought water from kilometers away, building massive arches, stone upon stone. So what did they do with all this water? They built the second largest bath complex in the Roman world, not just for bathing, for meeting, talking, doing business. They had a perfect formula for heating. This system, called Hippocaust, still leaves modern engineers in awe. Underfloor heating in the 2nd century AD. These marbles were brought from every corner of the world, just like the Temple of Solomon, only the best, only the finest. Every measurement, every angle of this forum was calculated to perfection, almost zero margin for error, because the emperor's eyes were always watching. Think of the temple plan in Ezekiel's vision, every measurement recorded, every section serving a purpose. Leptis Magna was that kind of plan, a manifesto built in stone. But this magnificence had a dark side. Thousands gathered here, entertainment, spectacle, blood, the perfect tool to keep the people distracted. Rome knew this all too well. If the water stopped, the city died. Engineering here wasn't just a skill, it was life itself. That's a fact. But the real water of life entered this city through a very different path. And that water never ran dry. Now we go even further back. 33 AD. This time not Leptis Magna, Jerusalem. And let's take a look at what happened there. The Bible tells us this. Among those gathered in Jerusalem on the day of Pentecost, there were people from the region of Cyrene in Libya. These people lived that day firsthand. They heard that sound, they witnessed that moment. Then they boarded a ship and returned to this harbor. Can you guess what they brought back with them? Right in the shadow of Rome's magnificent forums, people began gathering in small homes. The first house churches, silent but determined. Just a few streets away from pagan temples, faith in Christ was slowly taking root, without anyone noticing, but without anyone stopping it either. These halls were built for Roman justice, but those who built them could never have imagined that one day they would become the greatest churches in North Africa. This inscription on the marble is proof of how deeply faith took root here. Leptis Magna became the gateway of faith into the African continent. Daniel survived in the lion's den. The first Christians here were not crushed under pressure either. On the contrary, the pressure only made them stronger. Rome built these roads for trade, but those same roads carried faith everywhere with its own hands. But if this faith was so strong, if this city was so magnificent, then why are there only stones left before us now? Because no empire lives forever. The final stop of our time machine, long before Rome, 1100 BC. No buildings yet, just a small harbor founded by the Phoenicians. LPQY. Every great city has a humble beginning. The Phoenicians were the masters of the Mediterranean. These people from Tyre and Sidon brought their trading genius to this shore. Money and talent transform cities. This harbor is mentioned in the Bible. When Isaiah and Ezekiel wrote about Tyre, they were talking about this very trade network. The world was far more connected than you think. Jerusalem once looked like this too. Humble, small, ordinary. Leptis walked the same path, step by step, century by century. Great stories always start small, but not everything was beautiful. Sacrifices were made to ancient gods, yet in that darkness the seeds of something different were being planted. The color of kings, purple, was produced here and spread across the world. In the Bible, purple represents royalty and holiness. Coincidence? You decide. Trade came, engineering built it up, wealth overflowed. But the sea is still the same sea. The city is under the ground.